made that putt, flashes of so many memories with my dad, with my family, 2007, 2008. And then just being so proud and so happy about what I was able to achieve.
What is it like standing over a putt to win a major championship and it not going your way?
So you start doubting yourself a little bit, and every week you have a chance of winning, you've had a good week. So I'd rather finish second and be the first loser than finish 20th. If you finish in 20th, you don't have a chance of winning.
The 1999 PGA Championship, where you went head to head with Tiger.
It was only my second major as a professional. Every time you think you have it under control, it kind of gives you a kick in the butt and it puts you in your spot.
How do you move from, oh no, I've missed the opportunity to win the Masters in regulation? How are you gathering your thoughts?
So obviously I was like, what's going on? I mean, it's like the world is moving when I'm hitting the putt or something. She gave me a kiss, she gave me a hug, and the only thing she said to me, babe, you've got this. I was like, you know what, she's right. You know, I'm playing great, I feel great, let's go and do it.
Well, this is a massive treat for fans of this show. We are welcoming a man to the show who is a legend of Ryder Cup golf. He's a Masters winner, and when LIV comes to Adelaide, he's the player I want to watch because he provides what we call in this part of the world bums on seats entertainment. His name is Sergio Garcia. He joins us from Texas. G'day, Sergio. Great to see you.
Thank you, Howie. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. How's life in Texas? I actually just looked at the weather thinking, right, it's the middle of winter, and I saw it was 22 degrees and sunny in Austin, and I think, that's why this man lives here, because it doesn't look to be much rain in that part of the world, Sergio.
Yeah, we had a little bit of rain, and we had a little spell of cold weather like a week and a half ago or something like that. But it's pretty nice here. You can pretty much practice all year round, which also helps. But you know, more than anything, it's just beautiful. A lot of great people. Obviously, my wife is from here. Our kids go to school here. I have a bunch of good friends here. So, you know, it's a good fun city. And Austin is growing a lot. So it's very nice.
And how, with your children growing up in America and American schools, how do you maintain the magnificent European influence to keep them sort of dual internationals?
Yeah, I mean, we do go back to Europe around the summer. I mean, we go a couple of times a year, but around the summer we always go for at least 5 weeks every year. So they get to go back to Spain and see their see their cousins and their auntie and uncle and their grandparents and stuff like that. I talk to them in Spanish pretty much 100%. Very, very little English. Obviously, Angela, my wife, talks to them in English. But you know, we try to make sure that they don't lose the Spanish roots and the European roots in them.
Yeah, it's great to hear. Mate, you'll be out here in, I'm down the coast in Melbourne, but you'll be in Adelaide soon. You're off to the Middle East first. When LIV first approached you, it was such a tumultuous time in the game. What was your main motivation for signing up to LIV?
Well, for me, it was never. I mean, people might think that it was a very easy decision. It wasn't. It wasn't super difficult, but it wasn't as easy as some people might think, because obviously you knew you were potentially giving up some things, but at the same time you were getting something that you can't buy with money or anything like that, which is time with your family, time off in this case. So obviously what we're doing was we're selling our schedule, but we knew exactly where we're going to play, and the great thing about LIV is that they always said, you know, you're allowed to play anywhere else. You just have to make sure you play our 14 events, and then you can play as many as you want or as little as you want. So then you can mix that up nicely in a way of how much time you wanna be able to spend with the family and in your time off, and you know, that's something that throughout my career, through my 25 years on tour, I've never had more than a month off during the off season. So it's nice to be able to have the possibility of having 4 or 5 months off and being able to spend a lot of time with the kids, with Angela, taking them to school, doing, going to some of their sports activities and all the things they do. So it's been a lot of fun, and that was one of the main reasons to do it, and also, the excitement about doing something new, something related to teams that I've always loved. As you know, with Ryder Cup and stuff. So I've always loved that aspect of it, and LIV and Fireballs in this case gave me that great opportunity to be able to do that, and and it's been great fun.
Do you have an equivalent expression? I use the expression "bums on seats," like entertainer. People come to watch you play. My Spanish is only a sort of más o menos. So is there an equivalent term in Spanish for an athlete or a person that draws people through the gates to watch them? What would the equivalent of bums on seats be in Spanish?
I don't know. It's a good question. I would say, I don't know, someone that te mantiene en la orilla del asiento, or like on the edge of your seat, or
yes,
yeah. I mean, it's at the end of the day, I love golf. That's what I've done my whole life, and I love doing it. I love practicing. I love the competition part of it, and I've been very fortunate to play in the best tours in the world, and now obviously LIV is no different, and to be able to be part of that, it's exciting for me, and then it shows when I'm playing. It shows the excitement that I have to be there, to compete, to play against some of the best players in the world in some of the best stages, and some unbelievable places that we go internationally that we didn't get to go as much. As a European, you do go a little bit more to Australia and Asia and those kind of places, but playing on the PGA Tour, you don't get to do that much. So it's a great opportunity for us to show what we can do and try to grow the game as much as possible everywhere in the world.
Well, I think Adelaide, from an Australian perspective, has revolutionised golf in this country. Like last year, there was 98,000 people there. It's become, in an extremely short period of time, such a much loved part of the Australian sporting calendar. Like you've played there. I've seen it once. Like people are losing their minds when you guys step out in the tee. It's golf that we haven't seen before.
And it's great. It's great to be able to do that. It's and it's like a new slogan, long live golf. That's what we want. We want to make sure that the game of golf goes everywhere in the world, and places like Australia, like you were saying, the excitement we see when we go there, it's just unbelievable. I mean, for us as players, it's so fulfilling to be able to go there and see the excitement, to see how the tournament is run, how many people are going there, and probably how many people don't get to go there because the course is full and they can't take any more. So it's super exciting to be able to do that, and to be able to do it all around the world. It's even more exciting because golf is a global sport, and it serves to be everywhere in the world, and just the same thing that we do here in the US, we can do in other parts of the world as well or better.
I have got so many questions for you, so just settle back there and relax. Golf, when does it first enter your life? Your father was a golfer of note, yes. So when did you first start playing golf?
Well, I started playing golf when I was very, very little. Probably I think when I was about 2.5 years old. My dad is a teaching pro. He still does. He still kind of coaches me a little bit. We don't see each other as much as we used to, but obviously we talk a lot, and he'll come and watch me in some tournaments, and then when I'm in Spain, he'll obviously see me. But so I played golf for a very, very long time, but I've always been a huge fan of sports. Like I played tennis for pretty much my whole life. I played soccer or football for pretty much my whole life. I love watching Formula One. I love watching, I played paddle too. So I love sports, and I love watching sports. So, to me, I've always been a sports junkie, and and I enjoy. I love what I do.
I've become addicted to paddle with some mates over here. It's one of the great games, paddle or pickle. So, what was it about golf? Like at age 2.5 or 3, what was it about golf? Looking back as you 5, 6, 7 that grabbed you, mate, that you made you think, right, this is really what I want to do.
I mean, to me, I don't know. It was just I just felt really connected to it. I love that. Obviously, it's a game that you can play by yourself. So sometimes, I love football, but to be able to get a game, I mean, you probably at least need 5 or 6 guys to play like a 3-on-3 or something like that. I mean, you can juggle the ball and kick it by yourself, but it's not quite the same. In golf, you can play by yourself, but you're still playing against the course, and you're challenging yourself, and there's different kinds of shots and stuff like that. So that to me always always kind of hit me, and it kind of pulled me towards golf because I could play. But at the same time, you can play with a lot of people, and the beautiful thing about golf is the handicap, that it equals everything up. So you can actually be a 10 handicap and play against a professional like me, and with your shots and everything, you have a good day, I have a so-so day, you can beat me. That, as much as I would love to say, like I play tennis, and I consider myself a pretty decent tennis player, I will never be able to beat Roger Federer or Rafa Nadal or Carlos Alcaraz, some of those guys, or Djokovic. That won't happen, because the difference 1-1, it's so big that you just can't do it.
So cast your mind back. What was the first golf event, first tournament that you actually won? How old were you, and what was it?
It's a good question. I probably won some little tournament in my home course and stuff like that, but like nationally in Spain, obviously won Spanish championships when I was 10. I think I won the under 12s. But I won small events around the area where we live, and we'll call it puntuables, like qualifiers for
Yep.
bigger events around the country. But like proper events, probably I think the Spanish championship, the under 12s, when I was 10, that would have been one of my first big wins, I guess, as an amateur.
Reading a little bit about you, you're the youngest ever to make the cut on a European event, age 15 at the stage, which has actually been beaten. So you're 15. What is it like to step into a world of professional? Like when you're on the first tee, were you shaking? Were you nervous? Like you were looking. I'm sure you're looking at players that you've grown up idolizing in that event.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of both. You're definitely nervous. You're definitely shaking a little bit. At the same time, you're super excited to be able to play with some of those idols that you've watched your whole life growing up, and that you kind of dreamt of playing with them or doing some of the things that they've done. So I remember I think it was called the Mediterranean Open in
Yes.
Les Scorpions.
That's it. That's the one.
In '95. I seem to remember that Robert Carlson won it, if I'm not mistaken. And I was 15. I remember I played great. I was quite short, until I was probably like 17 or something like that. So I remember hitting a lot of woods. The course seemed super long for me, but I was striping it with the woods, and I managed to make the cut, and had an amazing experience.
So you joined the European Tour. I made some notes here. July, you turned pro age 19 in 1999, and then in July, on about your 6th event, you win the Irish Open. What does a win do for a young and aspiring athlete that's trying to make their way in the professional game?
It was huge, without a doubt. that's the thing. I mean, I was very fortunate to have a really good amateur career. I pretty much won everything that I could win, and I only played the U.S. Amateur once and got to the semifinals. So I was, as an amateur, I was right up there at the top. But once you turn pro, you start from scratch. You start from zero. So you never know. I mean, look what happened to Justin Rose, and then he overcame it, and he's an unbelievable player. But those things can happen, and you start losing confidence, and it's difficult. But I was very fortunate to play well early on. I remember my first event as a pro was the Spanish Open. I made the cut. I finished 25th. So that's already like, okay, I've already made a cut. I've already played on the weekend. I've finished, pretty decent, top 25. So it kind of gives you the confidence. Then I think my next event was the Byron Nelson in the US on the PGA Tour, and I finished third. So obviously, that builds momentum, builds confidence, and I just kind of snowballed, and then I won, like you were saying, on my fifth or sixth tournament as a professional. I think it was my fourth tournament in Europe, and it kind of puts you in a good spirit to kind of keep going, keep pushing, keep achieving things. All of a sudden, you're moving up in the rankings. You're getting your European card. You're getting your PGA Tour card, and things like that. So it was a dream come true. It was perfect start for my career, obviously, to give me confidence and kind of get me settled into the world of professional golf.
So you're going well in Europe. You're playing in America, and I remember watching this, and I went back and looked at the highlights last night. The 1999 PGA Championship, where you went head to head with Tiger. I think for many golf fans and sports fans, it's the first time they see this dude from Spain. They're like, wow, who's this kid? And it's still described now, Sergio, as one of the great head-to-head battles in the history of golf. And you obviously had an interesting relationship with Tiger on and off over the next 30-odd years. But what are your memories of that tournament, and what did it do for you?
Yes, well, first of all, I want to, now that you're talking about the PGA Championship, which is a major championship that I love, I want to mention to you that I just got an email from the PGA Championship telling me that they've invited me to play this year at Quail Hollow.
Fantastic, mate. Congratulations.
So super excited about that. Obviously, it's, to be able to keep playing majors is a dream come true. Masters is going to be my 100th major in my career. So
what is it like when you get that email? Sorry to interrupt you, because it obviously means a lot to you. Do you get an email or a letter? How do you find out, and what did it mean to you?
Yeah, no, it was an email, and I mean, it meant so much because obviously I'm in the Masters every year because of being a past champion, and the US Open and the Open Championship, you can play the qualifiers like I've done the last couple of years and make it or not like I've done. But the PGA Championship is a little bit tougher with world ranking points. If you're not in the top 100 and stuff like that, you can't really qualify for it. So to get that email where it says, because of the way you've played last year, and we've decided to give you an invite. It was so nice. It was like the perfect way to kind of get my season started as I'm starting next week, it's very, very exciting. Like I said last year, I think that one of the things that I actually like about LIV is that because of not having world ranking points and everything like that, I've been very fortunate to play so many majors throughout my 25 years as a professional, barely missing any, that it kind of almost, it shouldn't, but it kind of almost becomes like something normal.
Yeah.
And you start treating the tournaments just like something normal. It's like, and making qualifying for majors, it's a big deal. And I've realized that more than ever now that I'm not in every major. So every major that I get in with the 8.5 and the difficulty that it requires, you know, it's an honor, and it's something that makes me very, very proud, and so I'm super excited about it.
It's a great perspective. So 1999, actually,
Yeah.
I was listening to it, and I was listening to the commentary. So you're behind the tree. It's you and Ty going head to head. You're behind the tree, and the commentator says, "I'm not going to do it in an American accent. Small children don't watch this behind the tree." And then you chase the ball and you do sort of that leap in the air. As I said, I think that's when the sports world thought, "Oh, who's this fella?" It certainly was for me. What are your memories of that tremendous battle?
Yeah, it was a great week. It was only my second major as a professional. Obviously, I played three majors as an amateur, but it was my second major as a professional. The first one I played was the British Open at Carnoustie, which was super tough, and obviously didn't play well. So to be able to be in contention, battling against the best golfer in the world at that time, which was Tiger, it was dominating so amazingly. So it was a treat. I was super excited about it, and that's one of the things. Like when I hit it there on 16, I hit a good tee shot and it just ran through the fairway. And when I got there and I saw it, and I was like, oh, there's a little bit of room to be able to do it. It never, like in my mind, it never crossed the possibility of chipping out, because I could see that I was kind of chasing. I was gaining room and gaining ground on him, and I didn't want to chip out and most likely make five. You know, I was like, I need to keep making birdies or pars, and I was like, yeah, I can see it. I mean, it's risky, but I can see that I can hit it. I just have to aim quite a bit left of the green and hit a big cut, and you know, fortunately, I pulled the shot and hit on the green and made a really good par, and then, you know, fell just one shot short, but it was great, because thanks to that finish and all the things that I did before throughout that year, but thanks to that finish, I qualified for the Ryder Cup team, and you know, it was a dream come true.
We'll get to the Ryder Cup. I found over the years on this podcast, Sergio, that everyone that has success, not just in sport but in life, has really difficult times along the way, which shapes them. I wanted to ask you about the 2007 British Open, where you have a putt to win a British Open, and then in the end, Harrington gets you, I think it's a 4-hole playoff. Before we get to Augusta, what is it like standing over a putt to win a major championship and it not going your way? And mentally, what do you have to delve into and deal with post an event like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's having a putt to win a major championship. It's what you dream of. It's the best thing that you can have. It's the best possibility you can have, obviously, and that's what I had there. And you know, and I thought I hit a great putt. I hit exactly where I wanted. I thought it had to move a little bit to the right, and it went dead straight and kind of lipped out. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie. After I lost that playoff, the next, you know, the week and a half after was tough. It was very tough mentally, because I had a couple chances to win before that, and I didn't manage to do it. Either I didn't play well the last round, or was just short, or something like that. Someone played really well, so you start doubting yourself a little bit. And I think that the worst part about it is that even though you've had a great week, because any week, forget a major, but obviously in a major even more, but every week you have a chance of winning.
Yep,
you've had a good week. Obviously, yeah, everyone talks about like, oh, you know, second is the first loser and whatever. Yes, I understand that. But if you don't finish second, you don't have a chance of finishing third. If you finish in 20th, you don't have a chance of winning. So I'd rather finish second and be the first loser than finish 20th. But so I remember I was back in Spain, where I used to live in Castellana. I went for several, like three or four like walks on the beach and kind of trying to gather my thoughts, and because I was like, oh, I can't believe I lost another major, and am I ever gonna win one? And I should have won that one. I played well enough. I did everything that I thought I should have done and stuff like that. So so I remember you kind of like after like I said, after like a week and a half or something like that, kind of stopping and saying, hold on. I said, okay, so I know that it's disappointed that you didn't win the major, but why are you just focusing all the negatives when you did so many great things to put yourself in a situation to win the Open, which is your favorite major, or your favorite event? Why are you just focusing on the negatives? And you did this and this and this and this and this and this and this so well to have a chance. Just obviously, yes, it is disappointing because you want to win it, but don't forget every great thing that you did throughout the week, because those are the things that are going to help you keep moving forward and in the future. So I'm glad that I was able to see that, even though it took me a little bit, and it definitely kind of helped me kind of move forward and kind of regroup and get back on the right side of things.
So along those lines, you've had so much success, and I really want to speak to you about the Masters and the Ryder Cup. But when, like 2009, 2010, 2011, you had a period where your game wasn't with you, probably your putting wasn't with you. How difficult a game is golf when it's not going your way, and what have you learnt about it when it's? We would use the expression here again, another Australian expression, Sergio. When the game's biting you on the arse, what have you learned about the game?
Yes. Well, the beautiful thing about golf is that the perfect equalizer. Every time you think you have it under control, it kind of gives you a kick in the butt and it puts you in your spot. So that's the beautiful thing. And the game of golf mentally it's huge. And obviously 2000, after having 2007, 2008, beginning of 2009, I was having my best years in my career. I had a really bad breakup that kind of messed me up a little bit mentally, and it kind of made me put golf as the fault of failing on the relationship and stuff like that. So then every time things didn't go perfectly, as soon as I missed the shot, as soon as I made a bogey, I would just blame golf. This game, it's taking everything from me and stuff like that. So obviously that doesn't help at all. And and it took me a while to kind of refocus and say, you know what? I mean, why? You love golf. Golf is giving you so many amazing things, and you've been able to not only do so many great things for yourself, but how many people you make. You make them happy when you're doing well, and to the satisfaction that you give and the things that you can do because of the game and the people that you can help. Why are you just taking everything on it? So definitely once I kind of refocused on that, I kind of started going back to getting back to myself, and I started doing well again, and had some really good years after that again.
I really appreciate your honesty and you taking time to answer these questions for two people on the other side of the world that have never met before. Mate, I really appreciate your honesty. People are going to love what you've got to say. So, righto, that's the tough times. Let's get to Augusta before we get to winning a green jacket. And I've got notes and commentary bits I want to ask you about, certain holes I want to ask you about. But the place, like, what's your first memory of going to Augusta, and what does it mean to you as a European to arrive at that golf course?
Yes, I mean, some of my first memories are, I remember I won the Breeze Amateur in '98 at Muirfield, and obviously that qualified me to play the Masters as an amateur. And I remember going there and playing a few practice rounds as an amateur, and I remember looking at the course and saying, "Oh my God! I mean, this place is just amazing. The beauty of it, how well manicured it was, the hills that you couldn't really see on TV. You know, there was huge hills on the greens and around the greens and on the fairways and stuff like that. And I remember like playing on it and stuff and saying, man, this course, it feels like it's great for me. You know, it feels like I'm going to do so well here. And then I go on in '99 and Jose Maria Olazabal wins the Masters and I win the low amateur. And I'm thinking, wow, this is great. And I had a few good years at the beginning with some good finishes and stuff. And then I got super frustrated with it for some reason. You know, I felt like, you know, like things weren't going my way, and like the bounces weren't going my way, and then I would make mistakes here, silly mistakes here and there, and I got super frustrated with it. But you know, but I'm excited to kind of go back and you know, the beauty about being a past champion is that you get to go back every year. So I'm excited to go back and enjoy it, no matter what. You know, I'm gonna obviously go there and try to play as well as I can, and hopefully try to maybe win again. But no matter what, even if I don't play well, I just want to enjoy the week. I want to enjoy the people. I want to enjoy the beauty of being a past champion and walking around the grounds and really enjoying everything there and the energy that is there. So you know, I'm really excited about that.
What's the dinner like where the past champions, like the photos of those dinners when, you know, from Nicholas to Tiger and you and Els and Faldo and just these greats and Seve, like what's it like when you put your green jacket on and you walk into that dining room and you're just surrounded by other people that have won that event? It must be tremendously special.
Yeah, it's super special to be able to be part of that club. You know, the champions, the past champions club. It's an amazing honor. You walk into that room and you see not only the current guys that are amazing players, but some of the old guys that are unbelievable. I mean, massive legends of the game and people that you've grown up watching and that they've created so much history for the game that you play and that we're here because of them. You know, thanks to them, we're part of this beautiful game that we have. So it's really a treat. It's really a treat to be able to see them, have a great dinner together, have some great conversations, tell some cool stories. There's always some cool stories to tell from everyone, but especially from the oldies. And it's always a treat.
So that you roll up there in 2017, it's your 74th major and your 19th Masters, and you have that that tag, you know, best player to never win a major type of thing going on, which a lot of golfers have had over the years. At the end of the third round, you're 6 under with Justin Rose. You wake up on the final day on a Sunday. Like, how do you approach a momentous day like that? Is it just another round of golf? How do you keep your emotions in check to go out there and play at your best?
Well, funny enough, Howie, for me, the toughest thing about that Sunday, or any Sunday on a major, is that usually you have to wait so long to get on the first tee.
Of course.
You know, it feels like the day drags and drags because I'm an early riser. So even if I go to sleep at 11 or midnight, you know, I'll wake up at 7:30 at the latest. So you're playing at 2:30 in the afternoon. There's so much time to kill, and you know, and you want to keep yourself busy, but you know, you still don't want to lose focus on what you're trying to do. But for some reason that week, I felt really at ease. I felt really comfortable all week. My nerves were really, really good. I was a little bit nervy, but not too much at all. So I felt very in control, and I was super excited about, you know, the opportunity of going out there and, you know, giving it a shot, playing as well as I could, and see what I was able to do.
I've watched the Masters film again last. I don't know how many times have you watched the 2017 Masters film? Surely you've watched it a few times.
I've watched it. I watched it a few times. I've watched maybe not the whole thing, but definitely the last round or the last 6 or 7 holes, definitely watched a little bit.
Well, let's talk about it. So, for those following along, you got up to 3. You led by 3 early, and then Rose got up by 2. Now you have to tell me when I get this wrong. After 13, it's still +2, but you scramble a par and Justin misses a birdie. So it was still +2, but just watching and looking back at the highlights, there seemed to be some real emotion in your game at that point when you made your par.
Yes. Yeah, so obviously, unfortunately, I bogeyed 10 and 11, and Rosie makes a couple of good pars, and he gets a couple of shots in front of me. 13, it's funny because when you look at the highlights or even the broadcast or something, everyone says, oh, he hit a left. No, I mean, I hit a good drive. I remember because the first 3 days, the wind was kind of like left to right, a little down of the tee. And I remember aiming at one of the high trees on the left. And I remember just hitting hard high and kind of letting it drift a little bit and hitting the fairway, maybe just hitting in the right trees. And I remember the last day, the wind, there wasn't a lot of wind, but whatever wind it was, it changed and it was from the right.
Uh-huh.
So I remember aiming at the same tree and hitting the same shot, just like a high little fade. But this time, instead of kind of drifting a little bit with the wind kind of held it, and it held it. It still was a good drive, and I thought it was going to be perfect. It clipped the top of the tree, and it bounced left, down and left. So obviously the drive looks a lot worse than it actually was. So then it ends up in a azalea bush, just like my daughter.
So your daughter is named Azalea, after the Masters, which I love. I read that and it made me smile.
Yeah. So so I take a draw from there and I hit like a hook in 9-iron, about 70 yards short from the flag, and Rosie, it's a great drive, and the pin was on the right side, kind of near that Sunday flag middle right side, and so hold on, and sorry, my boy. So he hits a great second shot and bounces it kind of like in the middle of the green, but it kind of rolls up and goes just over the green, which is still a good spot for that flag. So I'm thinking, okay, most likely he's gonna make birdie. So I need to get up and down to stay within reach, 3 back. So I hit a beautiful 58-degree, just left of the flag, and probably about 6 or 7 feet. So I have a good chance of making par. He hits a great putt from over the green, over the back, almost makes it, and hits it about 5 feet short, uphill, a little right to left. So fairly simple putt if you don't take to account the situation. I managed to make my putt, and then he misses. So I really go from being 4 back,
correct,
to being 2, to staying 2 back. So that was a huge momentum. Enzo, I'm doing an interview. You have to be quiet. No, you can't do that.
Is he? You mentioned you love Formula One. Is he Enzo after Enzo Ferrari, or is he just generally Enzo?
No, we just like the name.
Right.
We love the name, and after naming Azalea, our daughter Azalea, we couldn't name him Robert or something like that. It had to be something a little bit more, a little bit stronger.
So I take you on to the 15th. And again, your second shot's an 8-iron in, and the commentator, I'm not sure if it's Jim Nance at the time, who's been on this podcast and blew me away.
No, I think it was Peter Costas.
It was Peter Costas. So he goes 8-iron, the artist, the matador, and then you nearly hold it out. That's one of those Masters moments. It's got beautiful commentary in the background and your excitement. That's the bit of the last 5 or 6 holes that really captured me watching it back.
Yes, without a doubt. And every time I think about that shot and that eagle putt, I get goosebumps. It was the perfect moment and the perfect shot. I mean, the green is so narrow, and if you hit it 2 yards too short, it bounces and it goes back in the water. If you hit it 2 yards too far, it bounces off the green, and then it becomes a very tricky up and down for birdie. So to be able to get it spot on under that pressure and the adrenaline and everything, it was it was amazing. I kind of clipped the flag a little bit and went about 12 feet up the hill and managed to roll it in, and the energy and the cheer when I made that eagle putt, it was just amazing.
So it's getting tense at this stage. Rose birdie 16 leads by 1 again. Rose bogey 17. It's even. You're on the tee on the 18th, right? So you're everything you've strived for since you're 2.5 years of age is within grasp. It's all square going to the last hole. And you're on the tee, and there's a shot of you. And again, the commentary is Garcia takes a deep breath. Now, I haven't seen enough golf to know whether you normally have that moment trying to calm yourself on a tee shot, but it's just like you can just feel the tension watching it back 8 years later when you take that breath after Rose has missed his off the tee, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is all the drives you've ever hit in your life. This is the one, Sergio.
Yes, I mean, I've always said that, when you feel the most tense and the most pressure, that's when you need to make sure that you don't forget about breathing and taking nice, long, deep breaths and stuff, because that's what's going to calm your heart down a little bit. So yeah, I mean, obviously in regulation, we both hit great shots, great tee shots and great seconds. And obviously we both missed some birdies, but in the playoff, he hits first and hits a little right and hits the trees and kind of stays on the right side. And I managed to hit a great drive. And that was obviously, it was very important because that tee shot on 18 at Augusta throughout the years has gotten so narrow. It's like a little shoot. And then if you hit a little too straight, you hit into the bunkers. If you cut it a little bit too much, you hit into the right tree. So you have to hit it perfectly. And I managed to hit it perfectly in the 72nd hole and obviously in the playoff.
So on the 72nd hole, you've got a 3-footer. I don't know. How long's the putt you had to win the Masters on the final hole?
Yeah, I would say it was probably on TV. It always looks closer, but I would say it was probably about 4 feet. So it wasn't much farther.
So you had that chance at the British Open. Like how do you move from, oh no, I've missed the opportunity to win the Masters in regulation, and then you get straight away onto the first playoff hole? How are you gathering your thoughts? How are you stopping that negativity knocking on the shoulder and say, hey, mate, this is what happened at the British Open all those years ago?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a funny story because, that putt on the 72nd hole, I remember perfectly that 2017 Masters. I remember Wednesday, I had my practice round. I played the back nine, and I come on 18, and I was like, oh, you know what? Just for fun. Usually the flag is front left, kind of around here. And I remember grabbing a couple of balls and giving myself probably like a 4 or 5 footer down the hill, pretty much the same putt that I had. I mean, obviously it wasn't exactly the same, but it must have been very, very close. And I remember hitting a couple of them, and both of them broke a little right to left. So I was like, okay, well, that's good. So you do that in practice. And then you get to the 72nd hole to win the Masters. You have like a 4-footer down the hill. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is the putt I hit in the practice round. Like, I mean, this is perfect. Like, I couldn't ask for anything better than this. So I'm looking at it. I remember I didn't even ask my caddy for a read or anything because I was like, I know this putt goes a little bit right to left. So I don't want him to come here and tell me, oh, it looks very straight or something like that. And then I started thinking, no, it broke. And so I was like, no, it's perfect. You hit it kind of like inside right edge. You hit it soft because it is downhill, so you don't need to hit it hard. You just hit it soft, and it's just going to curl down and kind of break a little left and go in. And happy days. So I stand there, I get on my putt, I hit it, and as soon as I hit it, and as soon as I look up, I see that the ball kind of trickles a little right. So I'm like all surprised. I'm like, what happened there? And then it tries to come back, but it doesn't. It just misses on the right edge. So that's why I'm like, so I kind of stand. It wasn't like, oh man, I hit a bad putt or anything like that. I kind of stand there like I was amazed. I was like, what happened? Like, how can I hit this putt in the practice round, and both times I hit it, and both times it goes left, and now I have it to win, and I hit it and it goes right, and it just stays on the right side, and I miss it. So obviously I was like, what's going on? I mean, it's like the world is moving when I'm hitting the putt or something. So, but it was very good. It was something very good that happened, and that's why I was getting with the funny story. So I'm walking off the green, thinking, oh man, what a chance I had to win. I'm like, well, I still have a chance, obviously, but what an opportunity, this and that. And I remember my girlfriend at that time, well, my fiance at that time, because we weren't married yet, Angela. I remember that she comes to me, she gives me a hug, and she could have been, obviously she's done sports and she knows what goes around and stuff, but she could have been like, oh, that was so unlucky, oh man, Jesus, what a shame, or something, and you kind of keep it negative in a way. Instead of that, she gave me a kiss, she gave me a hug, and the only thing she said to me is, babe, you got this. And I looked, and I after I gave her a hug, I kind of started walking away, getting ready to sign the card and everything. I was like, you know what? She's right. I'm playing great. I feel great. That something happened there that I don't know why it happened, but yeah, I mean, I still have a chance, and I'm playing great. So why? Yeah, I got this. So let's go and do it. So that was a big moment. That it just happened like that. It wasn't like prepare or anything like that, but it was her saying the right thing at the right time, and it definitely helped me when on my frame of mind going into the playoff.
What a wonderful, wonderful woman, and well done to Angela. So, mate, you got 2 putts to win it, and it only takes you 1. When the ball drops in the hole, what are your memories of that millisecond, that second, and then being given the jacket by Danny Willett? And what does it mean?
Yeah, I remember how when I made that putt, I remember seeing flashes of so many memories of my life as a kid, with my dad, with my friends, with my family. 2007, like close misses, like 2008. Some of the majors that I was super close of winning, I didn't win. So there were so many flashes going through my mind that went through my mind at that time in like 5 or 10 seconds. It was like boom, 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 and then just the feeling of being so proud and so happy about what I just did and what I was able to achieve, and having my first major and being at Augusta and having the green jacket and everything. So it was very unique.
Adam Scott came on this show for I don't know, we're up to 240 odd episodes. He came on episode 100 and he talked about his Masters win in detail, as you've been kindly enough to do, to reminisce now. And then he talked about the year when he has the green jacket at his disposal and he'd have mates come around for a barbecue and he'd just casually leave it over the couch. So when they come in or he'd answer the door, did you have a time of doing things with your green jacket?
I did, yeah. That's the beautiful thing about it. The beautiful thing about the Masters and Augusta and the green jacket is that when you win it that first year, from when you win it till until you defend your title, you get to travel with the green jacket and take it to your house, to your home, or take it around the world. And that's something that we did. You know, I took it to Australia, I took it to, took it to Hong Kong, took it to Singapore, took it to Germany, Spain. You know, it traveled all around the world, and there were so many great moments that that I was able to live with it and to see. I mean, you have an idea of how big the Masters is and how big the green jacket itself is. But then when you get to travel with it and you see the reaction on the people when you're wearing the jacket and they see it and they touch it or they take a picture, you don't realize how much bigger it is. I mean, it's like they've seen a ghost or something. It's like they've seen something. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So you know, it's a great honor to be able to do that.
Ryder Cup. You've had the most wins of all time, and I love team sports. So, you know, I love watching the Ryder Cup. I was looking back at a mate said you need to watch the Miracle at Medina in Chicago when it's been reading about it. It's been described as the greatest sporting comeback of all time. I think America needed 4 points on the last day. Europe needed 8.5. You beat Jim Furyk. What are those moments like when you get to represent someone bigger than just yourself? Which I guess is what you're doing in LIV as well now.
Yeah, without a doubt. But the Ryder Cup is so special. There's no event like it, and what brings out of everyone, it's amazing. And that's not only the players, but the captains, the crowds, you know, all the supporters, the family, everything, the caddies, you know, everyone that is a part of it. It's just amazing, and you know, I love it. It's my favorite event, without a doubt. I love that you get the possibility of playing, like you're saying, for someone bigger than yourself, just not yourself. You play for your partner, you play for your continent, you play for your country, you play for all your supporters and stuff. And you get to know people better than you do any other week on tour, because to become a team, you have to open up. You know, you have to take your armor, open it up, and show your teammates and show your playing partner who you are inside, and that to be able to get that connection that is going to make you an amazing team. And to be able to do that, I feel very lucky to say that I've made some guys that I was friendly with and I had a great relationship with. I made very good friends out of it because of Ryder Cups. Like our relationship got stronger after playing Ryder Cups together. So that's something that not many events are, or probably none of the events are able to give you.
And this is the most important question I have for you, and I'm not sure what you'll go with because you are a European. Sergio Garcia, a man that's dominated the world of golf, husband, father, Masters winner, Ryder Cup champion, LIV golfer. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Yeah, I thought you might say that. That's. I hold you in high regard, but you've just dropped 0.5%. But I thought from your European background, that's what you'd go with, mate.
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of warm fruit.
That's a fair answer. We always finish this podcast the same way, Sergio. We're privileged to have a lot of young people listen to this podcast, and you will understand the weight of this question because you are a father. For those and you've had tremendous success in your career, and the way you've been on this podcast, I think represents you as a person. We don't know each other. You've been warm. You've been generous with your time. You've been friendly. You've told some great stories, and I really am appreciative of that. For those that are hoping to achieve success in their world, whether it be golf, tennis, science, maths, whatever it would be, what advice would you give to the youngsters out there that are hoping to achieve success like you have in your field, my friend?
I would say just pretty much two things. I would say work hard and enjoy what you're doing. If you're able to do those two things, you're always going to excel at whatever you do.
you never know when you haven't met someone before and you see them on the other side of the world. But it's been a wonderful podcast. You've been so warm and
Thank,
friendly. I really appreciate it. May you have much success with you and your family moving forward, and got a few more wins in you, Sergio.
thank you, Howie. It's been a pleasure.